Okay, so tell me, would you change your diet for diamonds? Because that's what happened to my mom. When it was coming up on their 25th anniversary, my dad told my mother that if she lost 25 pounds, he would buy her this diamond ring that she had been looking at in the jewelry store and wanting to have. Hi, everybody. I'm Ricki Heller from rickiheller.com, and I help people on restricted diets learn to love their food, eat well without being deprived so they can go on, let their bodies heal, and focus on living their best lives. And that is what happened. My mom did lose 25 pounds and got her diamond. And then you can guess it. She gained all the weight back. That's right, because of the motivation. So I thought about this story this morning when I was chatting with a client who was telling me about her own journey with healthy eating and wanting to lose weight over the years. And she mentioned that ever since COVID hit, she's been totally compliant on her diet and she's lost a lot of weight and she's feeling so much better. It just sounded great. And I said, well, what is it? What do you think it is that has allowed you to do this and to lose all this weight? And she said, well, before COVID, she and her husband had gone out to eat maybe 4 or 5 times a week. And they went to these restaurants where all the food looked so good and everything on the menu sounded so good. And she just found it almost impossible to to hold herself back from ordering all these delicious foods. So she'd always break her eating plan when she was out in a restaurant. But now that COVID was here and they were at home 99% of the time, she was buying all her groceries online. She was making most of her food. It was so much easier to stick with it, and the weight had been dropping off. And I thought that was great. And then I said, well, the only problem for me, I was thinking about it, was what happens when COVID is over and those restaurants aren't going anywhere, right? So this really made me think about a concept in psychology called internal or external motivation. And what we mean is, what is it that motivates you to do the things that you do, to take the action that you take? And I think it really applies both to my mom's story and this client. And so if we are internally motivated, it means that what we do comes from some sort of force within us. It's just a desire or something that's compelling us to do it. And we're doing it for no other reason than we want to, and the personal satisfaction that we get from it. So as an example, something like a hobby is usually motivated internally, right? If you enjoy playing music, or if you enjoy dancing, or if you enjoy making pottery, or whatever it may be, it's because you like it and you would do it no matter what if you had the opportunity, just because it feels good to do it, right? Whereas external motivation is usually motivated by some force or reward that comes from without, or even coercion. In other words, being forced to do something. So as an example, we've all heard about these people in these corporate jobs, these soul sucking jobs where somebody is continuing to work at a particular position simply because it pays really, really well. They don't like the job, they don't enjoy the job, but they're getting paid a whack load of money, and so they do it anyway. That's external motivation. Because if the reward disappeared, if suddenly that job only paid $4,000 a year, they'd be gone like the wind, right? So it's only that reward that's keeping them doing it. And it would be a similar thing in my mom's case, where the only reason she was so compelled to lose that weight was because she wanted that diamond. And let's not talk about the cultural male female divide there, because that's a whole other question. But she couldn't buy it on her own. She wanted the diamond ring. My dad said he'd give it to her if she lost the weight. She did. But clearly her only motivation was the diamond. And it's very similar if the only reason somebody decides, or somebody is able to stick with a healthy diet, is because they don't have any other options, right? And it's not that external motivation is bad and internal motivation is good, but where I think it's important to make that distinction is, if you want to continue that behavior, if you want long-term success, you have to find a way to be internally motivated. because, as I said, one day those restaurants are going to open up again. So for me, over the years, that was something I worked on with like great concentration and practice, because I knew that I wanted to be internally motivated to eat this way for the rest of my life. And that's now something I work on with my clients, because we don't want to be falling off our diet every time the external circumstances change. If you're internally motivated, then when you go to a restaurant, you still eat healthy food. And then when you have a birthday party, you still decide to eat healthy food. And when you're on vacation, you still decide to eat healthy food. So it's getting to the point where that motivation is internal for you versus external. So I'd love to hear, what do you think it is that motivates you? Do you feel that it's more external circumstances, rewards, or is it simply the lack of ability to eat the unhealthy foods? What is it that motivates you, or is it internal? Is it a feeling that you are doing this because you feel so much better when you eat healthy foods and your desire is to do something good for yourself? Those are two ways of approaching it. Let me know which one it is for you, and think about how you can move more towards the internal. Another thing you can do if you're having trouble sticking with your healthy eating, I have a great free guide called 3 Simple Shifts to stick with it right now. And that's available at rickiheller.com/3 simple shifts. So it's the number 3 simple shifts. And what it does is it gives you 3 very practical strategies that you can implement that will allow you to eat more healthfully as you work on increasing your internal motivation. And these are 3 things that you can bring into your life very, very easily. All right, everybody, I hope that was helpful. If it was, please do let me know. And don't forget to grab your freebie, and I will see you guys again next time. Take care.